video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Yo, Dan Larson here, welcome to the newest Synthesize Sunday episode, and this is a new one because I'm starting to include FL Studio projects or presets too in my videos, and today I want to talk about how to transform any sound into a very cool background filler paddy kind of thing with this rack or patcher like this thing. So this is the sound that I'm talking about. Like always, you can download this whole project, but this time with the FL Studio Project 2 from my Patreon below with tons of other stuff, and click here if you want to dig deeper into production knowledge. I have an academy with lots of very cool start to finish courses, but right now let's jump into it. Yo, so here is the groove once again. Right, so we have the drums. Pretty simple stuff. We have bass 1, bass 2, very simple stuff, a synth. And this is the thing that I want to talk about today. I love this thing honestly because without this rack, you can hear it's a pretty simple percussion-like thing. So the operator preset is very simple. We don't even need a pitch, the spread. I think we don't need a filter either. Yeah, so this is the preset. Basically nothing here, only these 3 operators. So the first operator is a sine on course 16. The second one is this custom waveform, this thing here. And the envelope is really short. And an even shorter noise just to add a little transient to it. So we don't have this very FME digital kind of sound. Right, so this is the source sound, and in the rack I have to boost one frequency that we made last week. So click here if you want to see last week's video where I explained this a little more in detail. So I boosted one frequency that is the key of our song, and you can see it here in this little box. So it is A4 to add even more tonality to this sound and chopped off the lows and the highs a little. So this is the first thing. It is very important because with this you add a lot more presence to the sound. And then I added a reverb. And I modulated the reverb wet to add a little more movement to the sound. It almost sounds like if it was compressed heavily, but it is not. Now here comes the compression. I added a multi-band compression preset. Very slight compression and a saturator. It's not even important, so I deleted it. And then I added an echo that basically adds delay and even more reverb to this whole thing. And I so love the character that it gives to the sound. Okay, I added a phaser to add even more color to it. So because of the huge feedback, this is what really creates a very nice warm tone to it. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but in the middles and in the middle tops, there is this very nice warm kind of thing. So I added some side chaining with the Auto Pan plugin. And this gives an impression that it's more like a rhythmic kind of instrument or a loop rather than just a reverb side chained. Okay, and the limiter to the end. Now the cool thing here is that you can just grab this rack and put it onto anything basically. So if you just take one sound, like this thing is really cool, and you just drop the rack onto it, you can have the same effect with a different sound. So you can tweak with the EQ peak to have a different tonality for the sound, but obviously you can kill it completely if the sound itself has its own tonality. Now let me show the same thing in FL. Okay, so here is the groove once again. It sounds a little bit different. Okay, so I have Sytrus, and as you can see, I'm using 3 operators like previously. The first one is this sine wave. The second one, I had to draw in some extra waveforms, like following operator. And I also had to tweak some of these sliders to, you know, making the sound very close, or at least the closest to what I had in operator. Now it was a little hard making it only with these extra harmonics, you know, just drawing in the harmonics. So this is why I had to tweak some of these things. And of course, a noise. So it doesn't show us in the little graph, but this is a noise. So I turned up this knob completely and just the noise a little. And only operator 1 goes out, because as you can see, operator 3 modulates operator 2 and operator 2 modulates operator 1. And the next thing that I had to do is obviously the volume envelope here in operator 2, operator 3 and operator 1. So this is the main preset in Sytrus, and because I routed this synth sound Sytrus to channel 1 in the mixer, I wanted to add a patcher and I called it synth effector. So basically you can save it and drop it onto anything basically later. So the first effect is obviously this EQ. Now it is very interesting, because instead of boosting one frequency like what I did in operator, I had to kill that frequency because it was just too sweepy. It's simply because Sytrus is a different synthesizer. So it produced a different sound that I had to EQ differently, a little differently. Then I added this fruity convolver for the reverb, a multi-band compressor, where basically I only tweaked the high band to add a little more top to it. Then a fruity delay 3, as you can see here, a reverb to add even more reverb. You know, with the delay 3 and the reverb 2, I wanted to replicate echo, because, you know, FL does not have an echo device. I had to use it like differently. So I used the delay and the reverb. A phaser, I tried to copy the settings from Ableton. So these are my settings for that. And a fruity compressor to, you know, drop off the lows a little and EQ it a little further. And a limiter to the end, where I modulated the gain for the sidechain effect. So this is all here. And if you grab this whole thing and put it onto anything else, like just whatever sound you want to make, it just creates this whole cool thing. Okay, so like always, you can download this whole project from my Patreon below, but this time with the FL Studio Project 2. And click here if you want to dig deeper into knowledge with my academy with lots of very cool start to finish courses. I was Larson. See you guys next time. Peace.